play. I know there's lots of athletes on this call, lots of folks who maybe trained for something, whether it's a marathon, you went to college and you finished, whatever it might be. There's those moments when we can't see the end. We can't see the light in the end of the tunnel. We sure as heck can't see the finish line. That's when we have to tell ourselves and talk to ourselves and find the strength within. So today what we're gonna do is, I know we have several folks that are on who attended our retreat, the Area Manager Retreat, and last week we didn't get a chance to do this, so I definitely want to invite folks who were at our retreat to share, you know, what's one takeaway, what's one thing that you got out of that, and honestly, guys, you know, why you don't wanna miss next year. We've already put it on the calendar. It's the third weekend of July for 2020, and it's gonna be even bigger. And right now, as your leaders, we're hunting down a location just to make sure that we have the space for the growth that we believe we're gonna have in a year and how many are gonna be there. But it's never too late to start planning. If you feel like money is an issue, just put some money aside every single month. That's a good idea. We call that leadership pay. Or build a leadership fund where you put a little bit aside so that you never have to think when impact comes up, do I have 35 bucks to register? And by the way, now that I brought that up, do not miss out on registering for the early bird impact. Guys, we have been told that they expect all impacts to sell out. If you are in the Texas area and have not registered for Dallas, they're expecting that one to sell out before the others. They're expecting Sacramento. They're expecting everything to sell out. So don't hesitate, don't wait, get your registration in. It's only $35, guys, and it is an amazing, power-packed day in the month of September. It's kind of like getting a little tiny taste of GTC, having just a one day to see and be with all those leaders. Yay, Whitney, that's awesome. So I'll be in Knoxville in the morning, and then I will be in Sacramento. So you're gonna see we have different leaders all over the place. So you wanna make sure you get your registration in. And but I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. So who would like to share first? Just something that impacted you at the Area Manager Retreat that you couldn't wait to get home and implement into your business, or maybe it was something that was an aha moment. We'd love to hear from you guys. And I'm not scared to call on names, you guys.
Hi, Beth. I don't know, can you see me?
Yeah. How are you?
Hi. Good, how are you? I'm having lunch with Robert. Say hi. One thing two things really that I took away is definitely, can you hear me okay? It's kind of loud in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so personal development and how important that is. And I was really surprised to talk to people and hear how many people don't read personal development books and really practice that as a regular part of their daily routine. And then and that was like a message that was through every single trainer that was, kind of hammered throughout the whole weekend. The whole retreat was so amazing. I was so thankful to be there. So thank you for all of the hard work that you put into it. And then another thing too is just don't give up, don't quit. So I think that those are just two really powerful things. So awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for going first. Who else would like to share?
It's Debbie Landers. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because my husband's on the phone in the car too, but I'll try to make it quick. But one of the things it keeps running through my mind is when Carlita talked about world class. And I know we're oftentimes teaching people, especially with Arbonne, we want them to be, and it's not like we're trying to tell them that they can be in an upper class, but we're just teaching them what's possible in their life and casting that into them, because we lose sight of that oftentimes. Younger people always have that in their mind or in their vision, their dreams, or whatever it is that they want to be in life, or to grow up, or to do this or do that. And so we want to cast that back upon them. But when she talked about, we're not looking at a lower class or a middle class or an upper class, but we're looking at trying to invoke world class people. And I think that made a huge impact on me, because that's what I want to impart to my team and even my children and everybody else that I come in contact with, that we're all capable of being world class people. So that was a big takeaway.
That's awesome. It's so true though too, right? It doesn't matter what kind of family you were born into. It doesn't matter, what your circumstances are, where we can all change and grow. That's what I love. Thank you, Debbie. Who else would like to share what they got out of the retreat?
I'll go ahead and share
Yes.
before you call on me. So this year I got to go, I went to the one last year as an area, and this year I went as a new VP. And let me tell you, like, I don't ever want to miss out on the VP part. Like, you guys, it just gets better and better. And so I had so many takeaways, but I feel like my vision and my ability to dream like grew so much at this retreat. And it was super cool to like see other people on my team there and like how their vision was even changing too. But I know that there's even probably some people on this call too, and a lot of consultants even, just in general, that we say, Cecilia Stoll talked about this, but she said, quit saying you're trying. You're either doing it or you're not. So when you had a kid, did you just say you were just not going to try, right? You had that kid, you had to raise them and do your best. And I think it's so easy to put our businesses aside or just think it's something extra, right? Alongside what we do. And the sacrifice, you guys, is so worth it to really, really just go for it and put it as one of your first things. And she also said your team will rise up when the leader shows up. So like, I challenge each of you to like be that leader, like be the person that shows up daily, make your list, do it anyway. Like when the going gets tough, just go for it because it pays off. And believe me, you want to be a VP at the retreat come next summer.
I agree. Thank you.
Hey, Beth, I'll share.
Yes.
So I have my notes because I typed them out on my computer. But I am going to pull a couple of things from a few different people. So Blair Profit was one of the trainers during the area manager RVP retreat. And one of the things that she talked about and really her journey from area manager to RVP was that she was kind of in a place where she was waiting on leaders to join her business. And the whole like gist of this training was keep sponsoring, keep finding new, keep building wide. And so she said, when I decided to pave the way, people actually followed suit. And she said, your volume in this business comes with sponsoring. And I think if you've been around for a little bit, you've heard that before, this month's sponsoring is next month's volume. And so don't get discouraged sometimes, like when those numbers don't add up. She also said momentum is contagious. But one of the things that stood out to me the most is she's like, how come in Arbonne or in this business, when we're prospecting people or giving away this gift or this opportunity, before Arbonne comes into their life, people think that they're too good for it. They're like, oh, I would never do something like that. Like, I'm too good for that. She said, then as soon as they get an ID number, all of a sudden they're not good enough. And people start to question themselves and they start to doubt whether or not they can make this business work. And that really stood out to me. Like before Arbonne, people think they're too good. And then as soon as they get an ID, they struggle with their worth and their value. And am I good enough? So just know that no matter who it is that you're bringing into this business, like Jen said, that personal growth part is key. Then Jill Lyons spoke right after her because that's Blair's direct national vice president. And so she talked about, and I don't know if you guys have all heard this before, but I think it maybe was Cecilia Stoll or Linda Parker or somebody once upon a time made the comment that you need to stop trying to revive a dead horse. Like if someone in your business has died and you're like, just stay with me. Like, let me do a coaching call with you. Let you talk to Beth, like whatever. You're just like pulling out all the stops to try and get that person to stay on board. Jill Lyons said, which was one of my favorite things. She said, I'm not going to rise up the dead, but I'm going to keep giving birth. And I don't know if it's because I'm pregnant or what, but I was like, holy cow, I'm just going to keep giving birth, right? Like you cannot control the people who thought this was for them. And then maybe they struggled with their worth or their value and they decided it wasn't for them or they weren't cut out for this or whatever. So just keep giving birth. And then the last thing was from Cecilia Stoll. She was amazing, but she talked a lot about, her journey in this business. And I think, we all look at her and just think like, oh my gosh, Cecilia Stoll, she's the number one income earner. She's so amazing. She's 12 wide, whatever. But just hearing her story and how it took her like 9 months to promote to district manager and 6 years to promote to national vice president. That was really eye-opening for me. She talked about stop making excuses. And this is kind of brutal, but I just have to say it because it was one of the favorite things that she said that I heard. she said it drives her crazy when people say, well, maybe it's not God's will for me to succeed. And so the reason why this touched me is because I've had conversations with Beth and Vince after getting to area manager and regional vice president, like, does God really want success for me? And, you know, assuming that we're all believers on this call, you know, the Bible talks about how, you know, God wants to bless us in whatever area it is that we're struggling with in our life, and that he only wants good things for us. So Cecilia said, if you believe that you play zero part in your destiny, then go lay down in the middle of the highway. And like, that's so brutal. But guys, like, think about it, because, you know, God equips us and he blesses the things that we do, but we have to have effort. And so I think a lot of times in this business, we sit stagnant and we're like, are you blessing us? Like, where's the blessing? We're just like waiting for it to rain down, when we have to put the footwork and the action so that he can actually come alongside of us and bless our efforts. And so it was just really eye-opening to see, like, you do have a part, you do play a part. And if you want success in this business, then you have to go work for it. Work like it's up to you, pray like it's up to God, right? So I feel like I have to back that up because it sounds super brutal, but you just have to dissect it because it's really powerful.
I agree. I love that too. Who else? Thank you, Whitney. Who else would like to share?
I want to.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to have this precious girl on my lap. Cecilia Stoll said some things that I thought I wrote down, but I couldn't find them. So I'll go to the other things, but I'll go back to that. She said, if you don't have confidence, lead with courage. And that was huge to me, because sometimes it's hard to muster up courage, but it's a lot of times easier than confidence. And once you get that courage, the confidence definitely comes. And I love that she said, be bold and cocky. That just made me laugh. She also talked about, and I know this is true because I've had people reach out to me lately, there are people in the world depending on you to find your excellence. And they're waiting and looking. And when you show them some of it without being a gloater about it, they want to join you. And consistency came up over and over and over again. And I know that's crucial, because that is definitely one of my weaknesses. And Blair said, you have to be the best player on your team. And that was great for me to hear, but also hard. I'm so proud of the girls that have passed me. I'm so proud of them. I almost feel like their mom and their grandma. But I feel kind of down for myself that I did not allow myself to rise up faster so that I could be the example they needed to see. But I know that there's a time and a place, and that God, God wants me to rise up to my greatness, and he wants me to show others how to do the same. And so I am just so grateful that I was able to go, and that I'm continuing to grow. And I cannot wait to see growth in myself daily, because that's been my goal for a long time. I see it periodically, but I want to see it every day. So thank you.
Robin, I got to tell you that you were talked about quite a bit amongst the VPs, and not in a bad or negative way. But everybody was like, who does she has gray hair, tall, pretty Robin? I'm like, yeah, she's on my team. Like, we're grateful to claim her. And it was always, oh, she's just amazing. She's just so sweet. She's just so gracious. And I just want you to know, I am so proud of you, and you exemplify so much grace in the midst of being in the situation. You have an incredible organization, and it's always going to be there, right there with you and under you. But it's just your grace and that as an example to us all, if we ever in a situation like that. And it's not a shameful thing.
No.
But I love the way that you have loved on those kids, those girls.
Whoops.
But you have been a great example to us all. I just want you to know I'm proud of you, because I have watched you grow and grow over the years. And I'm just grateful that you did not give up.
Oh, I am so grateful.
Of course, when it was harder than heck, and you did not give up, and I'm so proud of you. And you guys, those are the stories we want to have one day. What kind of legacy are we leaving our family? What kind of legacy do we want our tombstone to say? What do we want? Like, that to me is what I think about all the time. Thank
I'd
you.
like to share a couple more things if it's okay, not to steal the floor, but a couple of things that team members said, it was Raina said to me, which just warmed my heart, is she said, Robin, it's so amazing to look at you and think, if you would not have said yes, I would not be here.
Yes.
And I said, isn't that crazy? And then as I was leaving, I saw Sherry Nickel a couple of times, and I've always wanted to meet her. I have a friend that's similar background, and I really wanted to share her story with her. And she said, Robin, I already know you. And I said, you know me? And she goes, yes. You have a kind heart, and I watch you. Thank you. And I was just like, So, and Sarah did the same thing at Beth's house. So that was really wonderful for me. I'm in my tribe, and I know I am. So thank you.
It's a beautiful place to be.
It is.
Who else would like to share?
I'll go now if somebody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Our Wi-Fi was being worked on all day, so I'm like, I hope this works. I just left obsessed with Arbonne. I feel like, just starting 6 or 7 months ago, the more and more you dive into the community of Arbonne, there's nothing else like this ever. Nate and I were the last ones to leave that night, just talking with people, because it's funny, you watch people's videos and then you get to meet them in person and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with you. I listen to you every day. Feel like I'm the fangirl of all these people getting to meet them. But there's just seriously nowhere else can you find this community, these people that pour into you, all the time. There's just nowhere else. And I think my biggest takeaways was one, I think it was Emily Martin. She started off and she talked all about prioritizing your time. And that's something that I've always been big on and obsessed with calendars and all that sort of stuff. But what I realized is after I had Asher, I think I was telling you this the other day, I'm after I had Asher, I was wow, I just went through a huge life change. I had a baby, I stopped working full time, and now I'm at home all day. I haven't used my calendar since I've had Asher. And I'm I need to use my calendar again. I love using my calendar, and that's what helps me stay organized and write down my goals and all these different things. And so she just touched on just basically prioritizing your time. And always, she's how many kids does she have? 4 or 5? And she built this business when she was my age. She started when she was 21 and just married and just had her first baby. And so she's this is so possible. And don't let your kids be the reason why you're not going to do it. Find the time to do it. And I think sometimes I'll be honest, I'll be breastfeeding Asher with a headphone and listening to trainings. That's just how life is right now. And sometimes I'm oh, should I be doing this? Is this okay? And, we had a good conversation, and she was no, you are, building this business for your family. And she's I never regret building this business ever. And then Nate and I, we got to talk to this super awesome couple, and they, Marie and Andrew, they are going Nation this month. So they were in Nation Qual last month, and we got to talk to them. And I think they're in year 7 of their business. And I asked them, I was do you feel it's been worth it? All the work that you put into this, do you feel are you now at the place that it's been worth it? And they were oh yeah, from year 1, this is 100% been worth it. And so I think it's just neat, just getting to meet the people. And then one more thing is I loved listening to the new RVP stories. I love hearing people's stories. And so all the new RVPs got to share and speak their stories and their biggest takeaways. And there was a girl who was sitting next to me on my table, Brittany. And it's funny because it's totally just a God thing. Because I was praying that I really wanted to talk with a new RVP. I just wanted to hear their story. And then sure enough, God places me right next to a new RVP, and she's talking, and she's sharing her region story with the girl next to her. And so I'm oh, I need to be listening to this. This is what I was praying for. So I scoot over and I'm hey, I'm just going to listen to you, by the way. sorry if this is weird. And she's like, oh, no. So I listened to her and whatever, and then she spoke and whatever. And then the day we were leaving, the retreat's over, and the day we were leaving, I went down for breakfast, and somehow we ended up right by each other. And she's like, hey, I'm just going to talk to you and share more with you or whatever, like just kind of randomly. And we talked for like an hour, and she was just sharing with me like her region story and everything. But she sat down with me and was like, are you, like, she's like, be honest with me. Like, do you think you're ready to be a region? Like, can you handle that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, well then no. The answer is no. She's like, you have to be so 100% ready to be a region, and then God is going to give you your region. She's like, ask me, like, are you reading every single day? Are you praying for your business every single day? Are you charting things? Are you looking at the growth? Are you checking in with your team members? Like, are you being the leader for your team? Kind of just like what Robin was saying, like, are you being the leader that your team needs you to be? And that's something that I'm just really excited to implement into my business. And I feel like my biggest takeaways have just been getting to talk and like sit at the feet of all the people in this awesome business. And I'm just like left just so obsessed with Arbonne and excited to just continue doing this. And I left with just excitement for what the future is going to hold, just in Arbonne in general and in my business as well. So if you didn't get to go, like Beth was saying, mark it on your calendars, like have it be a non-negotiable. Be in area by then, have it on your calendar and go, because it's amazing.
Thank you, Cassidy.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to share? I think there's only one more person besides me.
Hey, Beth.
And it's
How are
Tracy.
ya?
I wasn't going to call on you, but I thought, I know she's going for it.
Sorry, I was a little bit late getting on. We have trouble with our internet here, so we're still waiting to get internet service. I'm doing like hotspot craziness. So anyway, the retreat was awesome. Definitely, if you're not an area, like work your hiney off to make sure you're an area by next year. You do not want to miss the retreat. I feel like that area and above retreat is so powerful. I actually like it better than GTC because it's not as crowded. I feel like it's more intimate conversations with people, and I feel like you get to deeper conversations and you take away more nuggets because it's so personable. So for an introvert like me, that actually works better than 20,000 people parading along. So some of the things that were just kind of stand out talking points to me was at the first night of the retreat, I believe it was, about teaching. I think it was something about you have to teach the hunger, teaching the vision and hunger for your team, that they know that they feel that they can succeed and go for it. So I thought that was really power about teaching a different level of hunger as a leader down into your team. And then like so many powerful points, but definitely at the end when it was love people, coach activity, that was super powerful about, I think we get into we can all kind of have that head trash of like, I'm not a good leader, and I don't know, they're having problems in life and what do I do? And I think that was so simple, just love them where they're at, but just keep coaching the activity. Mm-hmm. And that takes the pressure off of you of having to be the leader who's everything to everybody, and that they have to figure it out, but you just keep coaching the activity. And when they're ready to receive that, they'll receive it, So I thought that was really powerful too. So I could go on and on, but those were just a couple of things that were really stand out. And I love the RVP stories. And like Cassidy was saying, I was sitting next to a new RVP, and everything that she shared in her little RVP story, she told me that the day before. And it was really cool to get to know her. She was the gal from Poland, the Polish gal. So she really, really, really nice lady, and just gave me a whole different insight. And why people need this business and how to share it and different things. So she was really cool. I really enjoyed meeting her.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Guys, as we wrap up today, I first off just want to say thank you to all those who shared. And I know that we'll have, just massive amounts of more people the next time. But guys, one of the things that I want to wrap this up with is, one of the things that I love about retreats is that we have this idea in our head that everybody's a certain way. That you've got to look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, or this. And when you come to a retreat, you get to see that there's all walks of life from all different situations, from single parents to people with no kids, to college dropouts, to 8th grade education, to all shapes and sizes, all genders. And that's what I love, is it helps us to break down whatever we think we have to look like or be to be successful. One of my favorite things that was shared, and it was shared by several different leaders, it was repeated through the process, not just the personal growth and development, was we don't take credit when you promote, but why do we take credit when someone doesn't succeed? I see more consultants feel horrible and depressed and down when they, let's say, for example, you sponsor someone. They get their fit kit, and all they do is just maybe they don't do a whole lot after that. And then we, as the sponsor, take on the grief and, oh, what's wrong with me? I must suck as a leader. I must be terrible. They're not doing anything. But boy, when they promote to district manager, we recognize them and cheer them on, but we don't take any credit. But we sure do take credit for when someone doesn't go further. And we got to stop doing that, guys. I mean, imagine if I take credit for someone who decides they don't want Arbonne to be a part of their life anymore and they walk away, and that would be like me standing up when Whitney went region, had her car presentation, and saying, hello, everyone. Actually, Whitney's getting celebrated today because of me, because I did such, and such, and I did this and that. I mean, how crazy does that sound, right? But that's how crazy it sounds when we take that burden on of feeling responsible if someone decides this isn't for them. Guys, just like Whitney or Cassie, I forget who Whitney shared, what Jill Lyons shared, we just got to continue giving birth. There are going to be so many people that come into your business that might just come into your business just for the products, that are going to come into this business, say they want it and want to rock and roll, but never really implement that. And there's going to be some people come into your business that are going to be with you forever, that they're going to be lifers in your business. And there's going to be some people who start and then you don't hear from them for 10 years and then they come back and promote to national vice president. I'm telling you, the key to this is just don't quit. Don't give up. Stay plugged in. As much as if I could take every consultant and share, if you just stay plugged in and connected, if that's all you do is stay plugged in, connected, you will eventually grow a business. But that was a huge thing for me when I heard that shared several different times. And also, guys, one of you brought it up, but when Cecilia Stoll said, stop trying, and she used an example. She had someone stand up front or when somebody says, I'm trying, Beth, I'm trying. She said, trying is not doing. You have to do. So if you keep telling yourself, I'm trying to make this business grow, guys, it's not doing. So she had a gal come up and she said, try to pick up that chair. And the girl picked up the chair. She goes, no, I didn't say pick up the chair. I said, try to pick up the chair. And so then she just kind of held on to the back of it. She goes, what are you doing? She goes, well, I guess I'm holding on to the chair. She goes, no, you're trying to pick it up. That was a really great visual for me. And hopefully that helps you guys too, is stop telling yourself that you're trying and start telling yourself that you're building. Start telling yourself that you're building an empire. And guys, who are your next 5 district managers? And then I want you to step it up. Who are your next 5 area managers, VPs, etc.? I don't know who asked us that, but I wrote all of those down in my journal. So who are those? And if we don't have someone who is on deck, guys, if we don't have someone on deck, then we've got to hustle and get someone on deck. So I appreciate you guys all sharing. Guys, let's go out and give this gift away. I just finished a book called Everybody Always. Oh my gosh, it's such a good book. On my story yesterday on Instagram, I said, don't walk, run to get this book on Amazon. It's $10. and you will devour it. The other thing I want to really push is our book club call book is absolutely one of my favorite leadership books. But Everybody Always has really hit me hard about loving people first. And in our business, we're here to love people first. And when we do that, when we ask questions, when we get to know people and love them first, we're going to have a better connection with them as leaders. But guys, we have gifts to give away in this business. We have a gift called Arbonne that we can freely give away. But let's give it, and let's not be undercover Arbonne consultants. Don't be HI Private Eye Arbonne consultant. Let's get out there and love. And I shared this when I trained at the retreat. I said, don't be ashamed of being in sales. Own it. We are in sales, and we have a health and wellness product that changes lives, and we have a health and wellness company with a comp plan that changes lives. And those are two amazing things that we need to own and offer it as often as we can. But wherever you're at, in every situation, whether you're at a grocery store, at a restaurant, wherever you're at, guys, go out to love people first and be shocked about the connections that are developed. I dare you guys. And I also, because it was brought up, personal growth and development, it's the easiest thing to implement into our lives, but it's the easiest thing to skip too. And it's the number one thing when I chat with a consultant who's struggling that they are not implementing is personal growth and development. So I dare you guys to spend the next 7 days reading a good book and then listening to a podcast every single day. And I dare you not to be thinking different. Oh, and see, there's my little grandson, and he just always steals the screen for me. Oh my gosh, Asher, you're so cute. Hi, Asher. Okay, guys, I love you all. Make it a great day. Rock your July close. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen on the 31st and how we close out this month. I love you all. Make it a great day.